Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula 3 iRacing League. We make ourselves out to the beautiful Road Atlanta for today's feature event, and tonight's race presented proudly by MSR Performance Engineering. Greatly appreciate those guys coming on board for this race, as right now drivers getting ready to make their way out onto the grid. Let's go ahead and run through the running order for today's main event. Starting on pole, Finley Fitzsimmons, the Flying Brit. Josh Green starting second. Jack Mundy starts third. Reed Gibson starting fourth. Justin Sang starts fifth. Micah Barnett starting sixth. Michael Chow starting seventh. Pete Dickett starting eighth. Kevin Burrows starts ninth. Michael Fairchild starting 10th. Nick Peterson starting 11th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starting 12th. Cycling it on back, we've got Felipe Sarkis starting 13th. Ryan Tebow starts 14th. Jared Ziegler starting 15th. Felipe Ramos starting 16th. Norman King starts 17th. Peter Rettinger starting 18th. Daniel Ziegler starting 19th. Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, starts 20th. And Ricardo Espino will round out the 21-car grid here today. Thank you to our fans, friends, and family. Tune in, supporting the broadcast. Let us know where you're from and who you're cheering on. Drivers will frequently have the broadcast pulled up in a separate monitor. And look at this. It looks like a large portion of the field will be starting in turn 12. Halfway up the hill, we find Xavier Zanave. We cycle up the field slightly, getting that camera. Oh, that's going to be exciting with this standing start. Fitzsimmons and Green up front are going to have a massive advantage here. A straight run into turn one. And the rest of the field, I think, is going to have their work cut out for them here. Looks like all drivers are on the grid, getting ready for the green light to come on here at the MSR Performance Road Atlanta round. Away they go. Already you can see Green getting tucked in behind Fitzsimmons, getting that defensive line into turn one. Fitzsimmons going to guard the inside lines. They charge up the hill. Oh, there goes Josh Green off track and out there in no man's land. Green looks like he keeps it off the wall as the rest of the field goes barreling into the bus stop. Ryan, it looks like that's going to be Tebow, 27, pushing 1, 2. I think he's got one more still in the front. 3 cones getting punted out of the way. As Finley Fitzsimmons and Jack Mundy, a bit of a breakaway up front. Micah Barnett sits in third. He's got Reed Gibson in hot pursuit. We get a report Josh Green was able to get back out onto the track. Doesn't look like he has any damage on that machine, so he'll keep things moving here. As Fitzsimmons has built up a 1.1 second advantage ahead of the rest of the field. Behind him, that's Mundy, that's Barnett, that's Gibson. We're going to go side by side into 10A. Here comes Barnett, a gutsy move up the inside line. Mundy fires back into 10B. Barnett holds onto it as they crest the hill down into turn 12. Further back, we've got carnage on the track. We're seeing a crash report. Jared, oh, it's a pileup. That's going to be Jared Ziegler, Josh Green, Norman King, and we are going to have a full course caution and roll the safety car after the opening lap here at Road Atlanta. Let's get that one queued up to see what happened to Ziegler. We're focused in on Jared Ziegler, the number 57 machine. Oh, does it look like, is that King that shoots the gap up the inside line? The 28, we're 3 wide into 10A. Oh, no, it starts on the outside. That's McAllister with a little bit of a healthy bump. And then some netco to finish off as the field comes piling in. Oh, way more drivers involved in that than what was originally shown on our crash report. I believe Sarkis, Peterson, Zagers, King, Green, all tied up in that one. And the safety car will roll here at Road Atlanta. Now, talking to some of the drivers before tonight's broadcast, they were expecting a bit of a rough go. But it's fairly rare we see the safety car rolling in a feature event. Normally that's a luxury reserved for the sprint races. You can see Barney throwing the waving caution across the field, as I believe the drivers are looking for the safety car. Oh, no! Micah Barnett almost gets to the back of Fitzsimmons under iPacing as the field checks up to allow that Porsche safety car around the field. Oh, and a big blink up here on the broadcast side. There we go, getting it back fired up. Everybody having problems here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Now, looks like Ziegler, Green, and King all came down pit road. No, Green did not come down pit road yet. He may be limping it along, as Ziegler and King still show in their pit stall. So Green is rolling underneath his own power. He's had quite an uphill battle here tonight. The turn one misfortune, complicated by the absolute carnage we saw 10A going into 10B. King starting to catch up to the field. There we go. You can see Nick Peterson and Felipe Sarkis. Back up front, there's Fitzsimmons. He's going to have Barnett behind him. Gibson sitting in third. Mundy and Chow rounding out the top five. I'll be interested to see if Ziegler and King can get back out on track. Fitzsimmons trying to keep a little bit of heat in the tires of that number 16 machine. This feature event has one scheduled pit stop on the board. As we will do one more lap of iPacing here at Road Atlanta. My home track for the viewers at home. Fitzsimmons giving me a little bit of seasickness here as he's careening around. Now we got to report Josh Green is going to come down pit road under his own power. Looks like Gareth McAllister will do the same. The field should be getting ready as we follow the safety car into the bus stop. Down the S's here at Road Atlanta. Parading their way through turn 5 by Spectator Hill on the right side of the track. See, we got a quick moment. We've got Norman King join us in the booth as the field makes their way through 6 and 7. Norman, how's it going out there, and are we going to see you get back out on track for this future event?
We're going to try to get back on track here in probably 7 minutes. Hopefully we got her back to the pit, but she was pretty banged up out there.
Well, Norman, with 7 minutes, do you think we're going to see another safety car now that we've bunched the field back together?
I don't think so. I think the only reason that one happened was just because of the cars being locked on top of each other. I just don't see that happening, that style of wreck happening again here today.
Well, Norman, always well said. And before I let you go, as the field makes their way down the backstretch, tell us a little bit about MSR Performance and how we can support the company supporting us here at League Zero.
It's about custom build performance cars, so from anything from a full built race car all the way down to a car that you just want to take out on track days. We will help design a car that fits your performance needs.
Well, awesome, Norman. Thank you as always. I'm terribly sorry for the bad luck as we get ready to go green, and hope to see you back out there.
All right, thank you, sir. You have a good evening.
You as well. That was Norman King. Join us from the Infield Care Center, but the field has gone back green. Fitzsimmons going to try and build up that gap once more. Looks like a bit of advantage built up. Micah Barnett holds on to second. Reed Gibson currently third. A little bit further back, though, I believe we've got a lot of action going on. Ryan, I think it may have been Tebow having a moment as we're side by side down the S's. That's going to be Zagers. That's going to be Tebow. A gutsy place to go too wide as they blast up the hill here in turn 5. Tebow able to hold on to it, and we see 3 wide action behind them. That's Espino, Sarkis, Nick Peterson's in the mix. Ooh, Gareth McAllister watches from behind as these guys are going at it. Sarkis holding on to the 15th place spot, but here comes Espino back to the inside line. Nick Peterson drops out of line at number 24 machine, trying to get that momentum built up. McAllister has all sorts of draft advantage in front of him. As I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the 10A. Or are we going to see 3 wide? Right now it's side by side, 2 rows deep. Here we go, 3 wide into 10A. It's going to be Ricardo Espino coming out on top, and this is the battle for 15th, ladies and gentlemen. These guys absolutely going at it. Fitzsimmons once again sets the fast lap, and we're going to go 4 wide here at Road Atlanta. Espino, McAllister, Peterson, Sarkis are putting on a show. It might not be the fastest way around the track here, Road Atlanta, but my oh my, does it look fantastic. As a major blink there from our competitors. Able to get things corrected while this is going on. Let's check back in on race leader Finley Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons holding about a half-second advantage over Micah Barnett. You can see Gibson, Mundy, Chow, all in the top 5, all bunched up right together. We get a crash report though. Michael Fairchild, looks like it's going to be between 6 and 7. He's off track into the inside safety barrier. Let's see what happened to Fairchild there. Oh no, that was coming through 7. Just spins it around. And looks like he may have kept it off the wall, so he's got that going for him. Checking in on 4th place driver Jack Mundy. Michael Chow in hot pursuit as they charge up the hill here in turn 1. Fitzsimmons, Barnett, Gibson, your top 3. They pulled a 1.3 second advantage over this battle for 4th. You can start to see all the gravel, all the grass getting torn up and thrown onto the racing surface. The race leader Fitzsimmons has once again built up about a 0.7 of a second, so Fitzsimmons in a good spot here. Clean track, clean air on the front of that number 16 machine. We got Flo Dom joining us in the spectator area as well during the YouTube broadcast. Unfortunately, not able to make it out this season. Hopefully, going to see him back full-time next season. Always a lot of fun watching him drive. And things are getting dicey in 10A. Look at that. Here comes Pete Thickett, the number 84. He has closed the gap to Mundy and Chow, who are having a quite intense battle. And we do get a report as well. Norman King going to roll back out on track for 28. Unfortunately, Josh Green. Jared Ziegler still getting repairs done. Mundy still leading Chow and Thickett right until, let's go a little bit further back to another heated battle, the battle for the 11th. Daniel Zagers, Xavier Zanave, Ryan Tebow. I hate to do this, but we already have a crash report. Norman King showing involved in a crash. I'm not sure if he actually did. That car doesn't look healthy. It looks a little bowed out. So I think King is still out on track, but it must have come to a stop, and that was enough to trigger the crash report. And that car sounded like a box of marbles, so he may have a little bit of undercarriage damage. Micah Barnett throwing it through 10A and 10B. Trying as hard as he can to track down Fitzsimmons, your race leader. Oh, and here we go. Michael Chow has made a move on Mundy. Pete Dickett's going to try and make his way up in as well. Barnett still setting fast lap times in the 2nd place spot. A fast lap of the race, a 1:13.93. As the camera currently focused on Chow, Mundy, Thicket. The 3-car battle for 4th. Mundy got a little bit much curbing there, almost careening around to the number 2, able to hold on to it. Thicket backs out of it to avoid the carnage. And now you can spot Justin Sang in the 68. He's closing the gap as well. Wasn't sure how good the racing was going to be here at Atlanta in these Formula 3 machines, but these guys are out here putting on a show. Doesn't matter if it's a battle for the first, or as we've seen, battles for 15. Everybody doing their best and making sure the fans at home are being well entertained. The draft so crucially important here, Roland, especially down the backstretch, as it looks like Fitzsimmons may have company. Mundy with a gutsy move up the inside line of Chow into 10A. He takes back over the 4th place spot. Panning back to Fitzsimmons. He has company in the likes of Micah Barnett, who continues putting down the fastest lap of the race. He does now officially and squarely have the draft support. And we've got to go back to this battle for 4th. Mundy, Chow, Thicket, and now Sang really throwing jabs at each other here. A 4-car battle for 4th. We got to report Norman King back down pit road. Looks like Josh Green briefly leaves pit road, as well as Ziegler. Ziegler immediately takes a tow back, so he is done and out of this main event. Here at League Zero, if you take a tow back to your pit road, you are not allowed to rejoin the racing surface. You are done and out until the sprint race later this evening. Thicket looked like he was going to try and make something against Chow. Not quite able to close the gap down the backstretch. And now it is Fitzsimmons' turn, the young British driver, setting his fastest lap of the race, a 1:13.739, compared to Barnett, who had a 1:13.8 as his fastest. So the pace starting to wick up 11 laps in as the tires really start to get their maximum temperature. We saw a whole lot of off-track reports. Felipe Sarkis, one of those, it looks like everybody into the bus stop having a little bit of a tough time, maybe a little bit of avoidance there if they quickly come up on a slower driver. Now Fitzsimmons, your race leader, he's built up a 1 second advantage now over Barnett, slowly pouring the throttle back on. As we watch Felipe Sarkis sitting 17th, he's down 4 spots, trying to catch up to Fairchild in the 88 machine. Fairchild also having a rough go of it here at Atlanta. He is down 6 positions. The battle for 4th wages on. Reed Gibson still holding on to 3rd. Mundy, Chow, and Thicket still here together as they go side by side into turn 1. Chow has the inside line. Oh, a little bit of bumping and grinding there between Chow and Mundy. Mundy has the door shut on him. Despite trying to fire back into turn 2, no such luck. And they've got to be careful. Every time these guys start throwing side-by-side passes like that, that's allowing Thicket and Sang, running 6th and 7th, ample opportunity to close the distance back up. Another crash report. Ricardo Espino taking an off-track excursion. I see where that is. It looks like that's 10B coming up the hill. That is exactly where it is. So Espino, thankfully no damage, able to get that thing going again. Carry on. Chow, Mundy, Thicket, Sang, running 4th through 7th, still separated by less than a second. And you can tell every one of these drivers is hungry to improve that position just a little bit. You can see how tight Mundy just ran turn 12, but doesn't quite have the draft advantage to make a move on Chow. Chow will go defensive up the hill. into the first chicane. And keep an eye on Pete Tickett, the number 84 machine. He's up 2 spots. And one little bobble from either Chow or Mundy will be an easy and free position. Now the fuel window for these drivers will open on lap 15, close about lap 20. As the feature event is a one-stop race, historically drivers will only take fuel. It's extremely rare we see drivers taking tires on their pit stops. And neither Chow, Mundy, or Tickett quite close enough to make any big moves heading down the hill. The draft helps, but only so much. And look at that, Chow gained about 0.3 of a second, so Mundy may have overdroven through 10A and B. And here comes Pete Tickett in the 84. He's going to look to the inside line, heading into 1. Mundy tries to carry more corner speed. Oh, and there's collision. It gets worse. Around goes Tickett. Mundy able to skate through that one clean. Pete Tickett rolls off into turn 2 and 3 area. Has to be careful. There goes Felipe Ramos. And here comes Peter Renger. Renger unable to make avoidance. Renger, oh no, tagging the inside wall. The mistakes just keep multiplying for the field here. As poor Renger in the 44, the blacked out number 44, the friendly Austrian. Just no such luck. Fitzsimmons holds on to about a 9/10 advantage. We've got Nicholas Marshall join us in the broadcast side of the booth as well. Pleasure to have him. And we did get a report from Norman King as well on the 28th. The car absolutely destroyed here in the feature event. Having to put it back in the virtual hauler. He's going to get out the secondary car for the sprint race of this evening. And I've got to agree with the fans at home. It looks like a lot of fun, clean racing. We've had our few fair shares of issues here, but for the most part, really spectacular racing when you see the field bunch up like it has. Now open track for Fitzsimmons, but he does have lap traffic. That may be Ricardo Espino ahead of him in the number 90 machine. That is exactly who it is. Espino holding to the side of the track to allow Fitzsimmons and Barnett by, respecting the blue flag here. And another big blink on the broadcast. Hopefully we can get that thing fixed here shortly. There we go. We're going to wait for live timing to catch up after that little bit of a hiccup. Waiting for him to cross the line, showing Fitzsimmons ahead by about 1.2 seconds. Running about almost 0.4 faster than Barnett last time by. Now the field's starting to get a little bit spread out. Looks like we have 19 of our 21 entries still out on track, rocking and rolling. 17 of those drivers still on the lead lap. Ricardo Espino, Josh Green are unfortunately one, if not more, laps down. Now the top 15 positions pay out points here at League Zero for the feature event. And don't forget the top 12 get inverted for the upcoming sprint race of the evening, which is always a very exciting time, inverting those top 12 drivers and seeing a mad dash in a race that is half the laps and generally twice the action. It's going to be tough to beat with how busy things have been here this evening. Fitzsimmons clicking off laps, 1.4 seconds ahead of Barnett. Barnett seems to be losing a little bit of ground here. But it's important to remember, no drivers except McAllister, who is currently 9th out on track, have come down pit road now. McAllister, I think that was for a little bit of little bit of damage repair. Pete Thickett's going to come down pit road in the 84. I see some more interesting racing coming up. Nick Peterson catching up to Daniel Zegers in the 77 machine just ahead of them. There's Thibaut and Zanabe, the flying Frenchman. Thibaut's going to dive down deep in the inside line to 6. Zanabe off track. Able to hold on to it, but this is a tiny little pack. You've got Thibaut, Zanabe, Zegers, Peterson. Especially Zanabe, Zegers, and Peterson really close together. Zanabe's going to try and make that number 12 machine about 3 lanes wide down the back stretch here at Road Atlanta. And this is going to get dicey into 10A. Peterson nowhere to go. Almost gets to the back of Zanabe. And Zegers is caught back up to Thibaut, heading down turn 12. Zegers going the long way around the 77 machine. Oh, you can see Peterson just barely off track coming out of turn 12. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Zanabe with a very interesting line choice through the first chicane, taking a cone halfway with him down into the S's. But this is exactly what we were talking about heading tonight's broadcast midway through this feature event. Sponsored by MSR Performance. Oh my goodness, was that I think that was a Espino hopping out of the way, but we thought it was a very dangerously slow car. And yeah, Espino even triggering the crash report software with that slowdown, but doesn't matter if you're battling for first or battling inside the top 10. Just spectacular racing here this evening. Fitzsimmons, your race leader. He's 1.9 seconds ahead of Barnett. Barnett about 3.9 ahead of third place Reed Gibson. And still waiting for a large portion. Everybody inside the top 8 yet to come down pit road this evening. I'm curious to see how long is Fitzsimmons going to stretch that run out for. Lap time's still good. He's about a half second off of his fastest lap of the race. We expected the fuel window to close around lap 20. And now Fitzsimmons, if this run continues, he's going to be facing more and more lap traffic as this continues on. A little bit of a lockup there out of the number 16. Tiny bit of smoke. But no, Fitzsimmons is going to lead the field around for one more lap. You can see on the the League Zero Formula Series track map, the bottom right hand of your screen. Fitzsimmons at the very bottom of the map, heading up turn 1. He's got a little bit more traffic coming up. That's going to be Felipe Sarkis, running 16th in his number 4 machine. The last thing Fitzsimmons wants is to ruin that massive run. He's built up almost 2.5 seconds over Barnett, finding himself battling with traffic. I'm also curious, with that early caution, full course caution, safety car coming out, how much fuel were these drivers able to save during that? Switching up the strategy ever so slightly compared to a straight green flag run. Fitzsimmons through 10A, 10B, up the hill. And once again, the young British driver is going to stay out a little while longer. Oh, what did we just tune into? Nick Peterson, Ryan Thibaut. Looks like Thibaut absolutely launched over, I think, Peterson. Let's take a look there. Watch Peterson, the all-white number 27. Oh, wheel-to-wheel contact going into 7. That was Ryan Tebow in the 27. Peterson, the number 24, also involved. Peterson takes a tow back to pit road. He's done it out. Peterson and Tebow both taking tows. Mundy, Sang, Zagers all down pit road. So Fitzsimmons, surely he's coming in this time by. Zagers a very long pit stop. An abnormally long pit stop, 18 seconds. I wonder if he got some sort of entry penalty on that, a pit road violation. Oh, Fitzsimmons almost missing the pit entry there. Carrying a whole lot of speed to 12, hard on the brakes. He's down pit road. Will Gibson follow suit? Yes, he will. What about Chow? Chow does the same. As well as Burrows. So it looks like the entirety of the field coming down pit road. This may put Barnett as the race leader. Can he pass Fitzsimmons? Barnett came down on lap 20, while the rest of the field, the top four in front of him, all on pit road. Jared Ziegler takes another tow back to pit road. He must have had issues. Fitzsimmons rolling back out on track. What's going to happen here as Barnett charges up turn one. He's showing about 3 seconds behind Fitzsimmons, but that time drastically dwindling. So as they're settled in, Fitzsimmons back up to pace. Barnett is going to be 2.8 seconds back from Fitzsimmons, 2.2 ahead of McAllister. Where did McAllister come from? Oh, McAllister's on a slight different strategy. He came down pit road on lap 3 and took a little bit of fuel. Surely he can't run that much longer. That would put his next pit stop around 25 if he can hold on to it. And he's got Reed Gibson right behind the number 11 machine. We know how fast Gibson can be. Where did McAllister go? Has anyone seen McAllister? McAllister may have blinked off the track here. An internet issue for the young British driver. Not what we want to see. An absolutely gut-wrenching for a driver who is running so well. Fitzsimmons in his favorite place to be, in the lead, qualified on pole, holding on to the race lead. And we're waiting to get a report if McAllister is going to be able to get back out on track, try and salvage the evening, as unfortunately he has dropped very far down the standings, down to 15. Now he's still in the points and still about a lap ahead of Ricardo Espino. So if he can get the number 25 machine reconnect to get back out on track, he could very well still salvage some points in a race that has very quickly gone terribly wrong. Fitzsimmons, an interesting engine noise we just heard out of that number 16 machine. Couldn't tell if he was blipping the clutch there, or maybe couldn't quite find the gear he was looking for. But most importantly, he is still gaining time on Micah Barnett. Now a 3.7 second advantage over the 59 machine, sitting in second. Now Fitzsimmons does have a little bit of traffic ahead of him. That may be Espino, I think, the number 90 machine. Espino, no, that can't be, because Espino just passed McAllister, who's on pit road. So we'll wait to see who Fitzsimmons is coming up on here. Oh, and a blink at the most inopportune time. As that was indeed Espino, the number 90 machine, slowing down, almost coming to a complete stop in 10A to help facilitate some passes. Not sure if that's the safest way to make that happen or not. But Fitzsimmons was able to get through, panning back to Xavier Zanabe. Daniel Zegers takes a tow back to pit road. He's done it out, so Zanabe will have the Austrian Peter Rettinger right in tow in the battle for 12th. A very important spot. Rettinger knows if he can just get one pass off against Zanabe, he will be starting in the very top spot. As we get a report from McAllister, he got hit in the old Australian internet. As his plans for points go down under. Again, a very important spot for Rettinger to be in. If he can pass Zanabe, who is now built up a 9th advantage in front of him. Again, he's going to be on the very front spot for the sprint race. And generally, you want to try and keep as much of the carnage behind you as you can. Because while this feature event is 30 laps, the sprint will be 15 laps of non-stop action. We get a report McAllister may have been able to rejoin. And somehow, I'm not quite sure, showing ahead of Daniel Zegers, now moving up into bump into 15th place point. So not entirely sure if that's accurate or not. Josh Green down pit road once more for fuel and maybe additional repairs. We got Alex Penn, he's here in the spectator area, cheering on the world-famous Aussie McAllister. Now the question is, will McAllister still score points? If I'm looking at this correctly, he may very well be able to do it. Daniel Zegers, who got bumped to 16th, took a tow, so he's done it out for the evening. McAllister, back on track, is in a points-paying position. And look at the traffic ahead of your race leader, Finley Fitzsimmons. Now surely Fitzsimmons will play it safe here, not putting that number 16 machine in too much danger. He's got about a 4-second gap over second place Micah Barnett, but Fitzsimmons not necessarily known for his patience when it comes to racing. Very willing, very eager to stick that nose and help make passes against the more unsuspecting drivers. And another dangerous position to be in is once you stop racing at your normal race pace, trying to back it down lightly, all of a sudden that's when mistakes can come out as well. So it looks like that's going to be Rettinger getting ready to go a lap down. Rettinger holds track left to allow Fitzsimmons by. Fitzsimmons will throw it up the inside line into turn 6, nice and easy. Now he's got Zanabe just ahead of him. Zanabe, the number 12. Fitzsimmons, the number 16. Don't know if Fitzsimmons is going to catch Zanabe before 10A. I don't think he will, so maybe Fitzsimmons will be able to work something out to start finish line straight where he's got a little bit more breathing room. Drivers absolutely ripping around 12. Turn 12, I should say. Such an intimidating corner. Luckily, these Formula 3 machines, a lot of downforce to keep you planted, wedged in the ground, because these guys are hitting speeds in excess of 150, in some cases 160 miles an hour here at Road Atlanta. And there is a lot of close walls around the race surface. Fitzsimmons is catching up to Zanabe, getting ready to put the flying Frenchman a lap down as they rip out of turn 5. Zanabe holds track left. Fitzsimmons not quite able to get there. Oh, there we go. The exact same spot that Fitzsimmons made a move on Rettinger into turn 6, which has a fair amount of banking through it, allowing you to, again, wedge that car in, get the maximum amount of traction you can. And nice and easy goes Fitzsimmons through traffic. At this point, the field very spread out. Fitzsimmons has a 4-second gap over Barnett. Barnett a 5-second gap over Gibson, who sits in third. Almost a 6-second gap that Barnett holds over Gibson. So everybody out on track, separated by at least a second at this point. I think the closest competitors we have out on track is Michael Chow in 4th, Jack Mundy in 5th. They're right at a second between the two. They'll have 17 drivers out on track, 11 of which are on the lead lap. But what happened here? Chow must have had a bobble. No, Chow is caught up to Reed Gibson. So Gibson has a bobble, and now all of a sudden Chow in the 66 is in position to maybe battle for third here. A quarter of a second, 2/10 separating the second and the third and fourth place drivers. Will we see Chow make an effort to move up into third? The white flag will be out this time by for the feature event. Then we'll have a short intermission before our sprint race here this evening. Chow works the draft against Gibson. Gibson falls back to try and get a good run out of 10B, but just like that, Chow gains 7/10 on the now fourth place driver Gibson. Fitzsimmons, your race leader, just clicked off the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:13.71. White flag is officially out, and it looks like Chow starting to leave Gibson behind him. We check back in on Fitzsimmons making his way over turn 5 for the final time of this event. He's got a 5-second advantage over Barnett, an 11.5-second advantage over Chow. I have a sneaking suspicion, though, Gibson's going to try one last effort against Chow to take back that podium position as Fitzsimmons charges down the backstretch for the final time of the feature event. Well, Fitzsimmons going to bring home the win as we pan back to the battle for third. Gibson and Chow side by side into turn A. Gibson defends into 10B, the inside line. Chow trying to find a way. He goes to the inside, diving down turn 12. Micah Barnett has scored second. Who's it going to be at the line for third? It's going to be Michael Chow in the 66. A very hard-fought battle between himself and Gibson. Well done to both of those drivers. As we're going to try and get the top three up here into victory lane out of Parc Ferme once they put those cars for post-race tech inspection. As Fitzsimmons enjoying the moment, picking up yet another League Zero win. As we wait for a few more drivers to cross the line. And then we can get these post-race interviews going. Looks like we're still waiting on Fairchild to complete his lap, maybe Zanabe. And that will do it for the feature event of the night. We're going to get some drivers up here into victory lane. Up first, we're going to get Michael Chow in the 66 machine finishing third. Michael, what a fantastic race and a even better finish between you and Gibson those last couple laps. That was a lot of good racing between the two of you.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. This is a great track combination.
Yeah, no, Michael, I was going to ask you about that. I very rarely see open wheel cars at Road Atlanta. How was it, especially once we got that first caution out of the way? It seemed like pretty good racing, a lot of ample opportunities for you guys to have some good back and forth action.
Yeah, with the long straight in the back, you really have to work to get away. So if you don't nail a perfect lap and the guy's within half a second, he's going to be right down your inside going into turn 10. So there's definitely a lot of wheel-to-wheel here.
And Michael, I guess my final question, when you and Gibson were both setting each other up for those draft passes, Were you at all worried that you showed your cards too early and that he was going to be able to make something stick there at the end?
No, because as usual, my success is predicated on others' failure, and he had short field, so I knew I had to get him and try to gap him as much as I could before he figured out how many fuel saving laps he had to do. So it came right down to the wire. It was a good one.
Well, Michael, a lot of fun for us in the booth as well as for the fans at home. And again, great racing and congratulations on third. Before I let you sign off and get ready for this sprint race, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this podium possible for you?
Shout out to you guys as always, the league as always, the chickens as always, and to my family as always.
Awesome. Michael, a pleasure as always, and hope to have you back up here for the sprint race, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, sir. That was Michael Chow finishing in third. Up next, we've got Micah Barnett, the number 59 machine, finishing second. Micah looked like a lot of clean laps there towards the end and able to just focus on hitting marks and keeping the car clean while we saw so many other drivers with off-track excursions.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for Finley. We're just kind of watching him drive away. Reed was catching me for a while. I think he got into fuel trouble there towards the end. So, yeah, just trying not to throw it away, which is one of my favorite things to do. And happy to finish well in the feature. That's not really my normal strategy, but yeah, pretty happy with that result.
Now, Micah, we saw you come down on lap 20, a little bit of an undercut from the rest of the field on fuel. Was that a strategy call to try and get clean track, or was that just about the limit you were at with fuel?
No, that was cowardice. Yeah, I had like 0.9 as I crossed the line. And yeah, I just didn't want to push it. So, nope, just trying to make sure I didn't sputter out.
Now, during that caution, we kind of reset the field. I know nerves get a little bit excited for everybody. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you almost hit Fitzsimmons as he threw out the anchor into one for the safety car. But how tough is it to get those nerves back under control when you're getting ready for a second restart in one race?
Yeah, you're exactly right. That caught me out. I think it caught a bunch of us out. I can't believe the top 5 or 6, nobody hit each other in the with a sort of unexpected slowdown. But it was a good. For me, the nerves were okay. I started 6th and I was up to 2nd, so I was pretty happy. And honestly, I sort of expected to finish around 5th. So yeah, just trying not to throw it away. And I didn't really have the pace, but got lucky and was able to keep it clean.
Well, a lot of fun watching racing, and like you said, a lot of clean racing we saw all across the track. Micah, congratulations on a very well-earned 2nd. And before we let you go get ready for the sprint race, who do you want to give a shout to help make it happen for you?
Thank you. Yeah, Scuderia Chicken House as always. I want to give a shout out to Santa Claus. Kids are excited about Christmas coming up. He makes that happen, so that's good stuff. And Team Goon Squad as always for the excellent broadcast.
Well, thank you, my friend, and best of luck in this upcoming sprint race this evening.
Appreciate it. Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Micah Barnett finishing 2nd. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, the driver crowned by the fans, Finley Fitzsimmons, bringing home the win. A great podium. We had a caution that we thought things were going to get dicey. He almost got ran over it, but other than that, it was pretty clean track for you out there.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic on the way. To be honest with you, it was quite sketchy to begin with. I wasn't quite getting into the groove. I made a couple of mistakes. Then I was able to iron them out about a third through the race. And yeah, it was just trying to get out of the slipstream of Micah, really.
Now, Finley, as a driver who's normally very aggressive, not afraid to make risky passes, how tough was it to kind of pick and choose when you were going to cut through traffic, especially in the S's or 10A and 10B when you have a lot of unknown drivers around you as you're cutting through the field?
Yeah, you got to be aware of the time you're losing. It can be very easy to stick in behind and be a little bit too passive and lose time. But yeah, I mean, I would argue that they didn't get out of the way as quickly as they should have done, but it didn't affect anything. And to be honest, it is fine. I don't worry about it. They can do what they want. As long as it doesn't affect the result, they can, yeah. But honestly, it is kind of a skill that you have to kind of master, is when to time the pass to lose the least amount of time, yeah.
Now, Finley, coming up in this sprint race, you're going to be starting way back in the thick of it here. 12th place with the inverted top 12. What's the plan in the sprint race? We saw a caution on lap 1 in the feature. Are you going to be able to get through enough traffic before we get to some of the tough spots in the track? And try and just kind of break free.
Yeah, I am expecting a crash at some point in the first couple laps. I think everybody is. But it's about keeping the nose clean, making as many passes as you can early on whilst the tyres are still cold, and it kind of levels out the playing field. And yeah, just play it lap by lap, I suppose, just making sure not to take too many risks. Obviously, not as many points, so you can take more risks than you normally would. But yeah, I mean, it's about bringing the car home and just getting as many points as you can, really.
Now, speaking of points, how does this change things in the championship? I admittedly didn't look at it before this finish. Is this going to tighten things up a little bit?
Just tighten up a little bit. However, last week in Sonoma did stretch the gap out because I was caught up in a lap 1 incident and some incidents in the feature race as well. But yeah, I'm going to need another miracle on my side, really. Another very high scoring weekend. And yeah, as long as Reed keeps his head clean, keeps his nose clean, doesn't get involved in the incidents, this championship is his.
Well,
good to win.
I would say, well, Finley, it's a lot of fun watching your race. Congratulations, the back-to-back. I think it might have been a triple, the fastest lap, qualifying on pole and winning. So a hat trick for you here, the feature event at Road Atlanta. And before I let you go, get ready for the sprint race, which I'm sure is going to be exciting. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this win possible for you?
Of course, Team Goon Squad, Gareth giving me the suck on the qualifying lap as well. He's a brilliant teammate. Shame he had to disconnect halfway through, or he got disconnected because of internet. But yeah, no, it was an interesting race. Yeah, thank you for the guys watching at home. Thank you to all the race stewards and league admins as well for putting on a brilliant league and another great race at Road Atlanta.
Awesome. Finley, always a pleasure, my friend. Hope to have you back soon, and best of luck in this upcoming sprint race.
Thank you, James. See you soon.
You as well, sir. That was Finley Fitzsimmons in the top spot. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the final sprint race of the evening. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The sprint race of the evening, 15 laps, half the laps, twice the action, and an inverted top 12. Xavier Zanabe in the number 1 spot. Michael Fairchild starting 2nd. Felipe Sarkis starting 3rd. Pete Tickett starting 4th. Felipe Ramos starting 5th. Kevin Burrows starts 6th. Justin Sang starting 7th. Jack Mundy starting 8th. Reed Gibson starting 9th. Michael Chow starts 10th. Micah Barnett starting 11th, and Finley Fitzsimmons, the feature event winner, will be starting back in 12th. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. You paid for the whole seat. You're only going to need the edge as we get ready for the final time tonight to send these competitors around Road Atlanta for the MSR Performance Engineering sponsored event. Green flag is up. Looks like Burrows, Barnett, Zegers has retired from the event. And away they go. Zanave, the flying Frenchman, doing his best Pirate Caribbean impression, trying to get away from the rest of the field. They turn up into turn one. Michael Fairchild tries the outside line. Pete Thicket, Sarkis, Ramos, all in the fray as we go 2-3 wide into the first chicane. Fairchild takes over the race lead. Here comes Thicket at the inside line through 2 and 3. Thicket not quite able to make the pass as they're still side by side in the S's. We see carnage behind as the field starts to stack up. Looks like that was going to be Felipe Ramos with an off-track excursion. Zanave also does the same, thankfully able to get through without major incident. Fairchild pulls a massive 7/10 lead. Let's go back to Zanave, who's now back into 5th. He's got Gibson. He's got Fitzsimmons right behind him. Gibson taking over the 5th place spot. Fitzsimmons knows he's got to finish better than Gibson. If he wants a chance at the title, he needs Gibson to have some sort of major mistake as we hint at going 3 wide down the backstretch at Road Atlanta. It's going to be quite busy going into 10A. Gibson and Fitzsimmons side by side. There's contact between the two. Fitzsimmons off track, finds a creative way to rejoin after a bit of a bump between himself and number 11 Gibson. Just good, clean, hard racing. Oh, Fitzsimmons getting muscled. Oh, Fitzsimmons has a slowdown. That's what it is. Showing as a cut track. And who is that off track? That was Jack Mundy. And the number 2 off in turn 1. Fitzsimmons bumps back to 8th. He's going to have an uphill battle. As now Xavier Zanave, he's got Indy Pro Racer Josh Green right behind him. We saw Green had a rough go of it in the opening feature event. As we get a report, Jack Mundy, Gareth McAllister, both taking tows back to pit road. Done and out of this 15-lap sprint event. Michael Fairchild, Pete Thicket, Felipe Sarkis still your top 3. Sang and Gibson round out the top 5. And we've got more problems as Michael Chow. Oh, can't park there. Chow, heavy damage to the number 66 machine. Comes back on track, realized the car. He just gives up. Chow pulls off out of the impact zone and says, all right, time to go home. Fitzsimmons muscles his way around Zanave. Zanave falls back to 8th. Let's go a little bit further ahead. Where's Zanave going? Looks like he was cutting the grass a little bit through turn 12. Thankfully able to hold on to it. But if we go up, we've got a very heated battle for third. You've got Sang, Sarkis, Gibson. Separated by less than a half second. And look at Gibson absolutely mirroring Sarkis into the first chicane. Down the S's. Looking for any opening he can find against the number 4 machine. Hopping the curbing. Oh, is that Fitzsimmons? Yes, it was. Almost tagging the wall out of turn 5. Sarkis defending like mad in that number 4 machine. And look at the great racing there. Gibson, Sarkis, still side by side. Here comes Josh Green joining the party, trying to get inside the top 5. Gibson a bit of a breakaway. Sarkis trying to find an opening once more. Fitzsimmons still sitting in 7th. He's about 9/10 behind. As, here we go. Everybody trying to find a way through turn 1. Gibson holds on to the 4th place spot. Sarkis and Green still side by side right behind. And here comes Fitzsimmons, has rejoined the party. Fitzsimmons almost gets in the back of Josh Green, has to back out of it. Green had the fastest lap of the race last time by a 1:14.27. Fitzsimmons, known for his aggressiveness, is going to try and make something happen. While this battle's going on, Pete Thicket in second, keeping the pressure on Michael Fairchild, your race leader. Drivers trying to hang back in 7, get the most run they possibly can down the very long, fast stretch of Atlanta. And speaking of that, that's where the draft battles happen. Here comes Pete Thicket. He's going to look at the inside line of Fairchild. Who's going to send it the deepest into 10A? It looks like it's going to be Thicket willing to hang it out in the line. Fairchild backs out of it to try and get the best run he possibly can back up the hill. So Thicket will take over the race lead, putting Fairchild in second. Fitzsimmons and Sarkis side by side for 6. Green has broken away by about 0.8 of a second. Fitzsimmons surely knows the longer he spends battling other drivers, the less his chances of a repeat finish are. Fitzsimmons driving like an absolute man possessed here in the number 16 machine. Alex Penn, the spectator, saying Fitzsimmons doesn't even need asphalt to be fast. As we go back up front, you can start to see Justin Sang and Reed Gibson closing the gap to Thicket and Fairchild, who run first and second. 4/10 separating Thicket and Fairchild. And it looks like Fairchild may have had a little bit better run out of 7, starting to catch the draft off the back of the number 84 machine. He will rapidly close the distance, but we've seen how lethal Thicket can be on the brakes here. Fairchild not quite able to gain too much ground, still about 4/10 off the back of Thicket, but the slow end faster approach working well for the 88 machine. And they have built up a little bit of time. They're about 1.1 seconds ahead of Sang, who sits in third. Gibson just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:13.9. Starting to get into a bit of a rhythm, but look at that. Fairchild stepping out the back end here. Not the fastest way around the circuit, but my oh my, does it look really cool for the broadcast. 9 laps left to go here in the sprint race, and somebody just absolutely yard sailed. Reed Gibson is parked in the danger zone, able to take a tow. Oh my goodness, that was almost incredibly violent. Heck, it was as violent as it stands. Let's take a look at that one, because that may be the crash of the night. Reed Gibson just absolutely obliterated the number 11 machine. Let's see what happened. Oh, a little bit loose coming up out of 5. Way off track, jumps the curbing, tags the right side wall, come out of 5. And look at this, the car just gets all explodey. And he is parked right in the middle of the track. Fitzsimmons evasive maneuver, his car parts spread everywhere. Reed Gibson just yard sails that number 11. Now that may be what Fitzsimmons needs. Fitzsimmons said he just needs a series of bad luck for Gibson to be able to lose a little bit of that points lead. So Fitzsimmons knows he is now in a points paying position. Now Gibson also, I believe, still in a points paying position. He's going to finish 13th, as everyone else behind him was either a did not start or a DNF already. Focused in on Pete Thickett's number 84 machine, still 4/10 ahead of Fairchild. I think the field very happy here that the caution did not come out, but I think if we would have saw somebody get into Gibson there, that would have been a surefire way for that safety car to make its way back out on track here at Road Atlanta. There's another big blink there by the broadcast software. An opportune time. Now, that's still gut-wrenching. Gibson did have the fastest lap of the race, at 1:13.9. And here comes Fitzsimmons putting the pressure on Josh Green. What is worth more to Fitzsimmons, a safe finish in 5th or trying to maximize points? And let's go back to Felipe Sarkis. Not sure what's going on here. Nick Peterson, Xavier Zanabe off track. We saw the live timing. This driver starting to bunch up. All of a sudden, no longer is they're spread out. So Somebody had an incident. You're on board with Finley Fitzsimmons, number 16 machine. He's up 7 spots from where he started. Attrition being the name of the game here in the sprint race. Nick Peterson, unfortunately, going to take a tow back to pit road. Fitzsimmons working the draft against Green. Oh, he's going to go for it into 10A. Not quite enough room to slam the door on Josh Green. Green holds on to a 1/4 of a second advantage as they blast through turn 12. And I think they're starting to catch up to the top 3. Thicket, Fairchild, Sang, your top 3 drivers. They're about 1.7 seconds apart. But Fitzsimmons and Green making the time up as Fitzsimmons works the inside line against Green into turn 1, headed the chicane. 6 laps left to go. Fitzsimmons has his work cut out because that cost him a little bit of a time. Will Fitzsimmons be able to close a 1.7 second deficit that the top 3 drivers currently have on him? Oh, Fitzsimmons and Green both widely off track in turn 5. And let's pan the camera back up. That's just Sang sitting in 3rd, the 68, right off the back wing of Michael Fairchild's 88. You can also see Thicket in the 84. Oh, here comes Fitzsimmons and Green. They're going to be able to work that draft together. But it looks to me like the top 3 drivers working that draft together, actually pulling about 2/10 on Green and Fitzsimmons. That's because Green and Fitzsimmons are going to go side by side, as well as Sang and Fairchild. Green takes back over the 4th place spot. Fitzsimmons will follow him up out of 10B. Down the hill into turn 12, the sharp, wide open right-hander here at Road Atlanta. While this is going on, the Thicket has gained a 1 second gap over Fairchild. Fitzsimmons and Green still going at it here, working the draft. That can't be the fastest way around. But that being said, they are gaining ground on Fairchild, who sits in 3rd, so maybe the leapfrog action out of Fitzsimmons and Green in 4th and 5th may be paying off for him here. Oh, and we get a report. Top 12 is for points in the sprint, we believe. Drivers who are sent back to the virtual hauler early tonight, taking bets and giving each other a hard time. The spectator, I've got to say, is they're all cheering for their friends. I'm personally rooting for the safety car. Fairchild holds on to 3rd, but for how much longer? As he's got a freight train with Fitzsimmons and Green right behind him. That's 2 talented racers, 4th and 5th, who have the talent and the aggressiveness to make something happen. As I say that, Green with another big move. Fitzsimmons and Green into each other. Oh, Fitzsimmons, where is he? Oh, Fitzsimmons may have just had his hopes absolutely dashed here. Is the car all right? It doesn't look good as Fitzsimmons falling back towards the back of the pack here. Now 9th, Fitzsimmons, the bad luck continues. Let's get that replay queued up. Green makes a big move into 10A, the inside line. Fitzsimmons tries to fire back into 10B. There's contact just ever so slightly, and then boy, is it no longer slightly. Fitzsimmons gets punted off to the left of 10B. Green goes right. Looks like Fitzsimmons keeps it off the wall, but there's going to be heavy damage on the both of them. So Fitzsimmons not having the points tonight that he was looking for. Still in the points, but not what he was trying to capitalize on, not what he was in need of. It's going to be Thicket, Sang, Fairchild, your top 3. Josh Green doesn't look like he's going to be in the picture here. He's about 7 seconds back from your race leader. The League Zero Sprint Series giveth, and the League Zero Sprint Series taketh away. And still, 3 wide action across the track. That's Tebow, Ranger, Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons may not have as much damage as we thought. I can't believe it with joining cars with himself and Green. Green still holding on to 4th. I'm not sure how either one of those drivers is still out on track and rolling at this part. Fitzsimmons, his car sounds absolutely awful as we go on board. You can hear the rattling. maybe he can't hear. So maybe Fitzsimmons going to not have as much problem as we thought. So we pan back to race leader Pete Thicket, the 84 machine. Now Thicket, he is currently 21st in points, a newer comer here to the League Zero Series. Still searching for his first win. If he could somehow pull one off here at Atlanta, the driver of the 84 machine would be absolutely over the moon here. But you've got Justin saying he wants that win as well. That number 68 machine sitting about 7/10 back. We get a report Fitzsimmons is down pit road, as well as Nick Peterson. All the championship contenders having a very rough time here, saying trying to catch that draft off of Thicket. Bang running 15th. He's also looking for his first win. Fitzsimmons will roll back out on track in the number 16 machine, currently 10th, still a points-paying position. I think at this point, with how many drivers are in pit road, Fitzsimmons is guaranteed points, but not able to capitalize on the moment he was looking for. Pete Thicket able to work through traffic here. I think that may have been Barnett in the 59 machine going a lap down. And Thickett's going to try and keep as much traffic as he can between himself and Sang in that 68. Now, Sang is about 2.6 seconds ahead of Fairchild. So if this thing can go green and clean, and man, is that a big if at this point, it should be two drivers looking for their first win. Thicket and Sang separated by a half second as they head through the S's up out of turn 5. Barnett quickly hopping out of the way there to allow Sang by. Well done to Barnett in that 59 machine. Absolute sportsmanship being shown amongst all the drivers, knowing, hey, there's a race for the lead going on. Let me get out of the way as quickly as I possibly can. And I'd like to point out Reed Gibson, who crashed out early, still has the fastest lap of the race. And we did get a report. Fitzsimmons did have the all-feared meatball. Gotta respect the meatball flag. As he went down pit road, unfortunately comes back in. Will Sang have enough time? The white flag is unfurled and ready to go for Pete Thicket here at Road Atlanta. 4/10 in closing, separating Thicket and Sang. Both drivers looking for a first-time win here at League Zero. Up the hill into turn 1, Thicket still holding on about a 4/10 advantage. Sang driving the wheels off the 68. Both drivers extending the track surface as far as they dare, trying to carry as much speed as they possibly can. Up turn 5 for the final time, a short run into turn 6. Will Sang wait and set up the draft at the backstretch. He's 2/10 off the back wing of the 84 machine. Through turn 7, trying to carry as much speed as they possibly can. Thicket finds a little bit more time. The gap back to 3/10, but if we're going to see a draft pass for the lead, it's going to be here and now, ladies and gentlemen, down the backstretch at Road Atlanta for the final time. A 10th separating the top two drivers. Sang hops out of line, looks to the outside line of 10A, trying to get set up for 10B. It's going to be a battle of the brakes. Who's it going to be? Oh, Thicket with a big lockup. No, what's happening? Sang also has a bobble. Thickett's going to hold on to it here. Michael Fairchild sneaks through here. Micah Barnett sneaks through. Pete Thickett's going to get his first time win here at League Zero and gets absolutely obliterated at the start-finish line. What a way to win it. Justin Sang finishes second, and Michael Fairchild will finish third. My goodness. We're going to try and get these drivers up here into the top 3. As I try and catch my breath up here in the broadcast booth. I think a few of the drivers are going to take their time finding the booth. This is Fitzsimmons. If that's correct, just set the fastest lap of the race on his last lap on 113.55. So unfortunately, Fitzsimmons had the pace, just didn't have the time nor the luck here this evening at Road Atlanta. Starting to get drivers up here into victory lane. We've got Sang. We're waiting on Fairchild now. As we're still waiting for two more drivers to make their way up here into victory lane. A lot of first timers here in victory lane. Michael Fairchild saying he's en route, hurrying over to Parc Ferme to get up here to the broadcast tower. All right, let's get this show started. Starting up first, Michael Fairchild, the 88 machine, finishing third. Looked like a relatively calm sprint race for you, but man, that was
No.
that was white knuckle.
Yeah, for me it was white knuckle. Those fast guys. Josh even got a spun or something behind. He was 4 seconds and still almost caught me. That was the white knuckle part. I was so much sweating over here, like, don't catch me, don't catch me, don't catch me.
Now, Michael, do you think that's more intimidating with that inverted grid starting up towards the front, knowing that there's so many past championships trying to track you down?
Yes, exactly, because you know their speed from the feature already going in. And I know my own speed, so it's like, okay, there's gonna be a difference here.
And Michael, the first time that I can recall calling a race here at Road Atlanta for League Zero, how do you felt the car and track and the other drivers kind of intermingled here? Do you think that ended up for being pretty good racing? Were you apprehensive coming into tonight?
No, actually, this is a really great track. I felt like the setup and everything. It was a little bit slidey, but not too bad. As far as the driving with the everybody, it gets spicy out there, and sometimes we wish we had bumpers, but open wheel racing, that's the way it goes.
Well, Michael, my final question is that your actual mustache we see in your driver profile photo?
I tried. No, it's not. I tried to get it look like that, but it's not.
Absolute bummer. Well, Michael, before we let you sign off and celebrate, a great job on third. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen for you?
Woo! Fanatec for the McGear, my wife and kids, of course, and League Zero. This is an awesome league.
Awesome. Michael, thank you for your time. Congratulations for third. Hope you've got some momentum to build upon after this evening.
Thanks, bud. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir. That was Michael Fairchild finishing second. Up next, we've got Justin Sang joining me in the 68 machine. Justin, great racing, fighting so hard for that first-time win, but man, what a great result for you in that 68 machine.
Yeah, it was little. I tried. It was just a little too late. Maybe one more lap I could have got him, but Pete was consistent. Hard to pass him.
Now, Justin, how hard is it for both of you guys to kind of measure each other up when the last lap, there's only so many draft pass opportunities and it all came down to 10A and 10B for you to make that move?
Let's just try to line up 10A and 10B. I think that's the only spot that I could really go for it. So, I mean, I did my best. I bricked late. He left just enough room for me on the track. I didn't want to crash, take both of us out. So basically, that's it.
Well, still, your best career finish here at League Zero, so tantalizingly close to the first win. What do you think it's going to have to take happen for you to get that prestigious first win here?
I gotta get lucky. Some of these guys are too quick for me. They would need to take each other out, and I gotta get lucky like today.
Well, Justin, it was a lot of great racing. Luck notwithstanding, you guys put on an absolute show. Congratulations, your highest finish of the season, a great fought second. And before I let you sign off and celebrate, who would you like to give a shout out to or say thanks to that helped make it happen for you?
Thanks, Reed. He helped me a lot on like the lines and stuff. Also, Micah practiced with us, helped quite a bit. So those guys, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Justin, congratulations. Hope to have you back up here more often. And congrats on that first second place, my friend.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Justin Sang finishing up in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend. For the first time here at League Zero, welcome Pete Thicket, the top spot. That was a fantastic race. And again, first time win, man. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, thanks. So that was that was an interesting one, especially after the first race. But yeah, it's good to be finally in the on the top step.
Now, Pete, we didn't notice it as much until we saw the replay. There was actually contact there between you and Sang through 10A and 10B, and looked like it was about to get really exciting really quickly as everybody was fighting for car control at that moment.
You mean right on the last lap?
Yeah, coming up through 10A, 10B, the downhill, left, right, uphill. Yeah, I couldn't quite see who made contact where, but you guys both almost went around in that final lap.
Oh yeah, definitely Justin's fault. He had a good run on me, and I know going into the basically the last overtaken spot, I was like, I'm gonna try to hold on as much as I can. But I race with Justin all the time, and he's super clean, and I think he knew we were going to be kind of like pretty close margins and stuff. But I think we kept it fairly clean. But yeah, last lap stuff, so it's pretty exciting. But
yeah,
I mean, I kind of knew I just had to hold on. I think he had the pace on me. I knew that like there's a fair few guys behind me that had like way better race pace. So it's just about trying to be consistent and holding on, and then get as wide as possible in the last lap.
Now, Pete, talking about those fast guys, it seemed like all the championship contenders had all sorts of problems as the sprint race tends to lend itself with bad luck for certain drivers. But at what point during that run, you and Sang had a bit of a breakaway, and you guys start realizing we're going to be the two guys battling for the win here at the end of it?
I think about 5 laps to go. That was when I thought I should probably really actually try to focus on getting this thing done. I was looking at relatives and. I saw a couple of the guys like Finley dropping off and Josh as well. And I think at that point, I always kind of thought those guys were going to kind of track us down. And I was hoping that I'd gap Justin a bit so he could kind of hold him up and maybe I'd be able to get away. But yeah, luckily it just ended up me and Justin. So luckily we managed to survive that one. But yeah, it definitely lucked out from a few people's unfortunate kind of results in the sprint there. So yeah.
Well, Pete, an absolute blast for us to watch up here in the booth as well as for the fans at home. And hopefully it was half as much fun for you guys to drive because you guys put on a spectacular show. And for the first time, my friend, and hopefully not the last, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this big win possible for you?
I mean, obviously all of the Scuderia Chicken House boys, they knew who they are, but especially Mike and my teammate. He had a rough sprint race. He missed the start. So, I mean, he's always kind of mentored me through some of these things. And he kind of like, was around at the end there to kind of like be a bit of an assist for me. We didn't do anything too bad, but, he was there to help out. But yeah, Mike is a good friend of mine. We've been racing together for donkey's years and he's a good buddy. All the guys in his chicken house, like Mike Chow, Justin, Blaine couldn't be here today because he's not feeling well. But yeah, Max as well bailed out today. But all those guys, absolutely fantastic dudes. Reed as well, super quick. All those guys are so great to learn from. But outside of that, I want to thank my mum. It's her birthday today, technically, and my girlfriend for allowing me to stay up till like 3:30 in the morning to do this stuff. So yeah, thanks to all those peeps.
Well, very well said. Probably one of my best post-race interviews I've ever heard, Pete. Very well deserved, man.
My
Hopefully we
pleasure.
have you. Hopefully we have you back up here. First time I've had the pleasure of talking to you and calling you in the top spot, and hopefully many more to come, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good effort. Thanks for the sponsors and nice job with the broadcast as always.
Well, thank you kindly. Congratulations on that massive win here tonight.
Thanks again.
That was Pete Thicket finishing the top spot for the first time at League Zero, a massive win in the final sprint race of the evening. He was accompanied by Justin Sang with his highest career finish, and Michael Fairchild rounding out the top three. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, my name's been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. And again, a special shout out to MSR Performance Engineering coming on board as the title sponsor for tonight's race. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and I look forward to seeing you back at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.